Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about professions in the world within, and in particular, I will explain how you can get some profession knowledge, and I will go through all the known sources of profession knowledge in this new expansion. So for those of you who are not really familiar with profession knowledge and who maybe didn't play during Dragonflight, basically this is a very important system that will allow you to unlock the different specializations for your different professions. And after that, it will also allow you to unlock, for instance, different crafts, to also gain some abilities, things like that. So this is really one of the most important things that will allow you to become efficient and to become good with your different professions. Now, from Dragonflight, most of the different sources are still the same. So if you played during Dragonflight and if you were, for instance, using a lot crafting professions and gathering professions, I'm not really going to teach you anything, but I still think it's important for you to know exactly what are the different sources that you will be able to focus on as soon as the expansion launches, and in order for you to get some of this profession knowledge as soon as possible. So let's start with all the one-time sources, which means that once you've done it on one character, you won't be able to get some profession knowledge from this same source. So the first main way for you to get some profession knowledge for your crafting professions is by simply crafting all the different items that are available with your profession. So here, as you can see on some of the items that I already crafted, there is nothing mentioned here, and it's because I already crafted this item before. But here, for instance, it says first craft, and so when I will craft this item for the first time, I will receive 1 knowledge point. And after that, the first craft will disappear, and the next item I will craft won't provide me one of these different knowledge points. But then you have all these other items that each time you will craft them for the first time will grant you 1 additional knowledge point. So this is a very easy way to get some good knowledge points at the beginning, and especially if you manage to unlock most of the different plans, recipes for your profession during the first few weeks, you should be able to already get quite a lot of these different knowledge points. Of course, a lot of these different items are things you can only craft when you unlock the different recipes, and some of them are very hard to get or to unlock, and so for that reason you won't be able to craft all the different items that are available with your profession during the first few weeks. But again, at least if you can do even half, you should already have quite a lot of these different points. Now, for gathering professions, it's very similar. All you have to do is to go around, and each time you, let's say for instance, herb a new type of herb or you mine a new type of ore, you will receive 1 knowledge point. So for gathering professions, it's a little bit more straightforward. Just fly around. Each time you pick up something new, you will receive an additional knowledge point. And so like that, you will be able to get quite a lot of them pretty easily by simply flying around in all the new zones and picking up all these new items. After that, another very easy way for you to get quite a lot of knowledge points, and this is something you will be able to do during the first few days of the expansion, is by picking up all the different profession treasures that will be located in all the new zones in Algari. So this is something that is very similar to Dragonflight, and here you will get normally 8 different profession treasures per profession, and each of these different profession treasures will give you 3 knowledge points. So it means that in total you can get 24 knowledge points very easily by simply picking up all these different profession treasures. And again, this is something you will be able to do during the first few days. And so I would really recommend you to do that if you are planning to directly start crafting items or gathering, because this is going to be a big boost. So right now I haven't done a series of videos on that, but I will soon release all the different guides in order for you to get all these different profession treasures. And so hopefully as soon as the expansion will launch in a few days, you will be able to follow these guides and know exactly where to go in order to pick up all these different profession treasures. Similar to the different profession treasures, you also have these different items right here that are basically profession items that will drop randomly when you're opening chests, when you're killing rares, when you're killing mobs. And so this is something that will again be completely random. And here, as you can see, they will either grant you 1 additional knowledge points or 2. And again, by simply doing all the different activities, you should be able to get quite a lot of them. So this is something that will add you more knowledge points, but again, it's pretty random, so it's hard to farm. And hopefully you will be able to get some of them by simply doing the main quest line and doing some of the main activities. but again, it's not really something you can farm actively. Then after that, you also have these different profession items right here that are linked to all the different factions in the War Within. And here, as you can see, when you buy it, you will be able to get an extra 10 knowledge points for this specific profession. And each time you will need to spend 50 of the Artisan's equity in order to buy one of these items. So in order for you to get these items, as you can see with the console of Dornogal, you will need to reach Renown 12, and then you will be able to buy the ones for alchemy, blacksmithing, enchanting, and tailoring. Then with the assembly of the dips, again, you will need to reach Renown 12, and then you will be able to buy the ones for mining, engineering, and inscription. And then finally, you will also be able to get some additional ones from the Alofo Arati when reaching Renown 14, and here it will be jewel crafting, herbalism, skinning, and leather working. So these are really, really good ways for you to get some extra knowledge points, and that's why I would really recommend you to try and increase your different renowns with all these different professions, because again, having 10 additional knowledge points for each profession is going to be a very big advantage and something you really want to do as soon as possible. Now, next to that, you will also be able in Ashkaet to go in the City of Threads, which is one of the new zones in Ashkaet. And here you will be able to find all the different profession trainers, and each of them will sell you some of these similar profession items that will give you 10 additional knowledge points for each of your professions. So in order to access the different vendors and to buy these different items, you will need to do the entire storyline and also complete the storyline in Ashkaet. And normally at some point you will be able to access the City of Threads and to start interacting with all these different vendors. Before that, they will be unfriendly and you won't be able to buy anything from them. And once this is done, all you'll need is to reach the certain profession level in order to buy these different items, and also to get enough cash, which is another currency from the War Within. And normally by doing the main storyline, you should already be able to get around 1000 of them. So it should be enough for you to buy 2 of these different items. But if you want to buy more of them, you will need sadly to farm more cash in order to then purchase these different profession items. And again, these different profession items will give you 10 profession knowledge, which is really, really good. There's also 2 more things that so far I haven't been able to really test on the beta, or at least it hasn't been confirmed whether it will be brought back or not. The first one are the different profession trainers or masters that are scattered all around the different zones. And when you go and interact with them, they will give you some additional knowledge points. This is something that Blizzard decided to do in Dragonflight, and hopefully it will also happen in the War Within. But in Dragonflight, this is not something that was available during the first few months. It was added, I believe, later on in another patch. So hopefully it will be the same for the War Within. And of course, next to that, there was also the quest line with the Artisan Consortium that would also grant you some knowledge points when completing it. Again, I haven't been able to do it in the War Within. I'm not sure if this is something that will still be there or not. But if it's the case, then that will also be a really good way for you to get some knowledge points by doing all these different quests. Next to all these one-time sources of profession knowledge, you also have a few weekly things you will be able to do to get additional profession knowledge. So the first thing that I would really recommend you to do for all your different professions and on all your different characters is getting some of the different treaties from inscription. And as you can see here, each time you will be able to get 1 additional knowledge point per week. So here, the easiest way for you to get some of these different treaties is to go through the crafting orders and to simply order some of them. And normally this is something very easy for you to get. And again, this is an additional knowledge point for each of your professions per week. So really something you don't want to forget. Another way for you to get some additional knowledge points is by simply answering some of the different orders from the Patreons, which is basically an AI. And this is something that will allow you to get some of them pretty easily. So here, as you can see, for instance, you can really start crafting the item and you will then be able to get these little knowledge points. So here, for instance, if I do craft it, I will then receive 1 additional knowledge points, which is really nice. And then normally you can do that multiple times. You have different type of items, as you can see, that will reward you with some of these different knowledge points. So here, I'm not sure exactly if this is a weekly thing or if it's a daily thing. I do think this is a weekly thing, but again, it's not guaranteed. I just think this is a really nice way to get some additional knowledge points, and especially if you're playing on a realm that is very competitive or a realm that is completely dead, at least you will be able to get some of these orders completed and to get some additional knowledge points by doing all these different Patreon's requests. Then back in Dragonflight, you add the different gathering and crafting weekly quests that each time would reward you with some additional knowledge points. Here, it hasn't been confirmed yet if these will be returning or not, or at least I haven't seen them, but most likely this is something that at some point will be brought back, and so hopefully you will also be able to do these weekly quests in order to get some additional knowledge points. Then every month you will also be able to get 3 additional knowledge points for each of your professions, and the way you can do that is by simply participating in the Darkmoon Faire, because during the Darkmoon Faire you will be able to do these little profession quests in the Darkmoon Island, and each time you complete the quest you will receive 3 additional points. So of course this is a quest you can only do once per month per character, and so once per month you will be able to get an additional 3 knowledge points for each of your professions, or at least all the different crafting professions, which is again something you really don't want to miss. The last category of items I want to talk about are the different Artisan Consortium's payouts. These are new items, and basically you will be able to get them when completing crafting orders, especially the ones from the different Patreons. So this is something that I'm not entirely sure what you will be able to get as a reward from them, but I can imagine that probably sometimes you will get some professional knowledge, especially from the epic one and maybe the blue one. Again, I haven't been able to confirm that on the beta, so this is really something we'll have to wait to confirm, but hopefully we will also be able to get some extra knowledge points from them. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye!